Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're in tune to WINN FM 98.9. It's Friday, the 14th of July, 2023. The month is running. It's not sliding by. I cannot believe it's Friday again. It seems like it was just 2 days ago, honestly. It seems like it was just 2 days ago that I was in the studio and having this perfect discussion, and people were looking forward to changing their lifestyles. And we're here again 1 week later. I suppose we can start listening to some success stories based on the information given. But then you ask yourself whether or not we are serious about situations, because they see that the government is breaking ground for a smart hospital. It should be a hotel. Smart hospitals. So it's obvious that we are not serious about longevity of life. We're not serious about health, because we are very much focused on being reactive than proactive. And I think that is one of the issues. Food security is not, much attention is not paid to that, because if that's the case, I think, government has to stop listening to what people are asking for and start listening to themselves, because at the end of the day, it's not a smart hospital that we need. We need a hospital that can provide a service for people who are sick. What we have to try to do is to avoid people having to go to the hospital. So we have to start focusing on food security. It hurts my heart when I listen and I read and I go on the internet and I see where most of our foods are genetically modified or bioengineered. So it means that we're not eating food, we're eating poison. You listen to all the commentators, and they're talking about how come all these young people falling down and dying. You talk about athletes who are doing the same thing. You talk about, it doesn't matter. So you can't look at one situation and say, it's because of the fact that they were immobile or otherwise. No, it's all around. It's no selector of persons. It's just happening. And we know one of the common denominator is food, or foods that we eat, the lifestyle that we live, that contributes to our poor health. But at the end of the day, our body should be able to withstand our maneuver when we are in a stressful environment. But because of the fact we are not eating properly and we don't have proper nutrients in our body, our bodies can't do what we ask of it. So it is sad, but it is true. My name is Sandra Quilly-Atherton. You're in tune to WINN FM 98.9. It's about the time that we bring your views. Your views is a program that is aired on WINN FM every Friday morning at 10 o'clock. We are way past that time, but it's life. Sharing is caring, and I suppose that's what we do a lot around here. People have a program and you allow them to finish what they're saying, and it comes down to this. But life is a journey. It matters. As a matter of fact, the less time you have, it's the shorter time you have to get there. So we would see how fast we can get to where we want to get. No rush. We are going to rush slowly, and that is the order of the day. So I have today, my topic is focused seriously on changing what is happening around here in the world. We look at Earth is not very happy with its occupants. When it's not very happy with its occupants, it tend to get rid of them. I don't want humans to become extinct like the dinosaurs. We read these things in history. We talk about Atlantis that just disappeared. We are now seeing, we've been having a series of earthquakes. Nobody can seem to understand why and where they're coming from. We look at areas that is supposed to be sunny, it's rainy. People are looking for a great summer, only think it's that we are blessed. We have beautiful weather here. We have the rain when we want it, not really when, because sometimes we want it sooner, but we get it on time, we get just enough to help us to grow our foods, and so we are fortunate. And so I'm asking you, do not look at our fortune as that we are so blessed, and it is somebody, it's obligated, or it's a must, and we should have it, because I don't know what we're doing, but somebody's very pleased about it. Let us continue to try to do the things that would keep Mother Nature happy, and so therefore we will not be faced with all of these storms, floodings, hurricane, gale force winds in Europe when it's supposed to be summertime, and you have rain nonstop in New York, North America, when it's supposed to be summertime, and those are some of the issues that we have. Yeah, we're going to take some calls, but at the end of the day, we're not ready for calls yet, because I have with me in the studio my partner that I had last week. For me, yeah, I am very happy that I can see things for what it is and I can bring people with solutions. Dr. Bushman Lloyd, good morning. It's special request, encore it was. People felt like they didn't get enough and they want to get some more. There's some people who are genuinely interested about health and what you said last week. Some people were very much impressed, but one of the things that I want you to do is to give your telephone numbers so that they can call you and not call me, because that poses a problem. Welcome to WINN FM and your views. We are going to talk health this morning.
Good morning. Greetings to all in the name of the Most High, our Supreme Creator, whom we are all a part of His body. I will not repeat what Miss Quilly had said, but she started off quite strongly. I was very impressed with the way how she handled that part of it. Just to say that it is time that we make the supermarkets stock the foods that we want instead of our buying the foods that they give. It may sound a bit harsh and disgusting, but we are buying the foods that they're giving us and we are eating ourselves to death. Everything has testosterone, estrogen, everything has sugar, everything has salt.
Table salt.
Nothing has amino acid.
No.
Nothing has magnesium. Nothing has phosphorus, calcium, and can go on. Nitric oxide. You know, these are the things that are lacking from our bodies, and more so due to the fact that we're eating GMOs. If you bought a sweet pepper and took the seeds out and planted them outside, you'll not get back that same sweet pepper. In order for you to get sweet peppers, you have to go to the hardware. Here it is, the hardware. You go to the hardware and you buy seeds to go and plant your food. That should tell you something. The same hardware got the Monsanto products in the back. The Roundup that is killing us, that is giving us cancer, and we're still using it. Or it is still being used on the food over which we have no control. My message, part of my message would be, we have to become one with the things around us again. We were once like that. We weren't meat eaters. Meat is killing us. The reason why meat is killing us is that in 2009, the United Nations came out with a mandate which says that every meat which is offered on the shelves for consumption, part of your getting the requisition to provide this meat, or the permission to provide it, is that you had to feed the animals with a produce that was produced and would be supplied by your agricultural department. We got a big agricultural department. They don't plant nothing. They're not in charge of anything but seedlings. They do not put good health by talking to the people. They sit down in offices and getting paid. Now it's time, if we are saying that we are awake or we are awakening, we must wake up the whole body. Your head, let your head be heaven. Let your heel be hell. Let the sole of your feet be the soul, your spirit, your body. Let your body be the temple of the Most High. Treat it like that. Treat it as though you are thankful for the Father, to the Father for having given you this body. Treat it like you respect it or you will lose it easily. No, you can eat healthily and still be sick. Sickness doesn't just come from the food. It also has to do with the amount of exercise that we give our bodies. I don't have time to walk. You don't have time to walk. So this is it. Lie down on your floor, lay on your back, bring your left knee up to your right elbow, your right knee up to your left elbow, vice versa. You go and you do that for 15 minutes. You sit up, you stretch your legs. You kneel down. Stretch your legs backward, extend them, push your toes. Concentrate on pushing your toes as far back as you can. Take a deep breath. Hold it for as long as you can. Lay it out. Do these things. Now, in the body got a big problem with the food. It starts with the mouth. We have to stop satisfying our taste buds and don't like what is good for us. You have 4 different parts of your tongue. One of them is bitter. You think that is an accident? You are supposed to drink bitter. Bitter helps to remove parasites. A lot of people, parasite is just a word. Let me tell you what parasite is. Parasite is like when you have food in a garbage pan. You keep throwing food in the garbage pan for 2 days. And then you see some white maggots walking out inside your house. That is how parasites operate in your body. When you eat fish, if you don't purge the fish of its worms and other properties, when you eat it, you go down there after a couple of hours, you don't get it out of your body, it is going to form parasites. These parasites will go and live in your soft organs. They're going to live in your liver, your kidney, your bladder, your gallbladder. And every time food comes down, they come out to eat. So they eat your food and they defecate, and then your body takes up this defecation and carry it around there. So you got mucus over here, you got inflammation up there, and you got something else. You have to take care of your body from this standpoint.
You know, one of the things that they have recognized that they're saying now that chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, it happens because of parasites. Just like you said, your body's not able to function as it should because of the mucus that is there. And so the amino acids you spoke about earlier, the minerals that you spoke about earlier, because you know your stomach acid level is supposed to be at a certain level, that is not happening, and so you can't break down, your body cannot absorb. So those parasites that you're talking about, and because of the way we treat our body, those are the ones that are responsible now for chronic diseases.
Yes, because like I said, what they do is they break down the food that you eat. They inhabit your body like tourists in a hotel. They come out to eat when it's food time. They do what they have to do, and they go back to rest. Meanwhile, you're suffering. You have pimples in the face. I know when I see pimples in my face, I know that I haven't done something in a long time, or it's time for it. And I just go and do it. Listen, the water bag that we used to call a douche bag in the old days, right? I don't see them there around, you know.
No.
And I have even a new one at home. You know why? Because I grew up that way. I grew up knowing that you had to clean the colon at some point in time. Old people when I was small used to be 98 years dying peacefully in their bed, 103, walking around in the yard, and then, you know, the time comes. People now don't have that kind of tendency and are cutting themselves short. You coming across the road and you see a nice figure in front of you, and by the time you get next and you look inside, you see a big belly hanging over the pants. And you're proudly buying clothes to put on and that. I am not discrediting anybody, I'm not calling down anybody. I am saying that you're living in a world where you're preoccupied with other matters and not your health. Your health is your wealth. I don't have any money. I don't have $1 in the bank. But guess what? I wake up 5:30 every morning, the latest. I wake before that. I get out of bed 5:30 every morning. I go to do things that I have to do. I go around and I try to live a normal life and help anybody I can. But I also am careful with what I eat. I don't throw away the papaya seeds. I eat the papaya seeds. The papaya seeds are very good for you.
Last week we started about we started talking about the papaya seeds. I think that was one of the reasons why somebody called me, because we didn't give a chance. You didn't give them a chance to tell them how the papaya seeds and what is it good for, and how you can prepare it for eating. Those are some of your free tips that you're gonna give.
Yeah, you see, to eat the papaya seed is very difficult if you have not been doing it before.
It's bitter, or
it is kind of bitter. Yeah. It has a bitter taste and it has a pungent taste afterwards, which will go away with saliva. But you don't have to drink any water. That's what I was saying about your tongue.
Yeah.
Your tongue is telling you, well, this is one of the things that I'm looking for. The reason why it looks for salt and sugar is to warn you away from them.
Yeah.
The reason why it looks for bitter is to tell you to drink some more.
Yeah.
You know, because look here, lizard food bush up and down the ground, you're giving people with weed eater the job to cut them down. That lizard food bush made in apple is good for diabetes. It is very good for diabetes.
And hypertension?
It is good for hypertension. It is good to clean parasites from the liver and the kidney. It is good for the urinary tract. All the benefits which can be considered side effects, because if you're taking it for diabetes and you're cleaning up something else, this is what I do. I try to find a herb that one can take, a combination of herbs that one can take, which when taken would do many things in the body, thus eliminating you having to take a tablet or something specific for each one. So when you take this for diabetes and your pancreas starts to work, your bile duct starts working, because they all are interrelated. When one starts working, the other one starts. When gastric juices are present, the stomach knows that digestion is about to take place, and everybody gets prepared like batsman down the wicket, waiting to come down. And then your body works properly, then comes to the colon. We like to eat, we don't like to go toilet. You have to go and insist that you remove that waste matter from your body. I will tell you some of the ways that I recommend to people who are skeptical or people who just want to start or try something as we go along. One of the ways is that papaya seed. If you blend the papaya seed, right, I'm going to give you a recipe. This is a unique recipe. If you took 2 tablespoonfuls of papaya seeds, 2 tablespoonfuls of pumpkin seeds, 2 glasses of coconut milk. The choice is yours how you want to get your milk. I like me scraping coconut and squeeze it out. But to get 2 glasses of coconut milk might cost you $30, $40 because the coconuts don't release as much milk as our coconuts that we had, and somebody brought a virus here that killed them off and the government just sit down and watch it. But that is a different story for a different day, because we had identified the fact that this man brought this virus to Nevis to kill off some coconut trees off a piece of land that the people didn't want to sell him the land, and he felt that he had money and he was this big virus king, and he killed off all the coconut trees. He gave our soursop trees a black head on the top.
Yeah.
The papaya trees started getting, all of them, they go up and then they get a black head on the top, and the citrus trees, and nobody was interested. That is the past. This is the present. Now take care of your body this way. You blend those seeds with the milk for 2 minutes. Allow it to sit, drain it, strain it, and you drink 1 glass of that 2 to 3 times a day. Here are some of the benefits. It is going to help you remove mucus on the way down. It is going to help you to remove inferior objects, parasites from your liver. It goes all the way down through your cleansing because of the papaya seed and the pumpkin seed. The combination gives you a compound which is just a cleanser. It is a detox because when it reaches to the colon, it detoxes the colon. Now, if you had done that, one had done that for 2-3 days straight, one would need to do it again, because what would happen is that the continuous motion of having the food removed releases the rest food that is stuck up there for a year and a half, and it starts coming down. Whenever you go to the toilet, you're surprised to see the amount of stool that you're passing. Then you will understand that I'm not throwing words on you when I say that most of your bellies are filled with food that you didn't get rid of. That is why you see a woman and she has a full mouth of beautiful teeth, but when she opens that mouth, the toilet come out. Because that is the vent. If she passes a gas, people on the road smelling it and wondering what that is. Because of that rotten food, the scent comes out of your mouth. I have helped people who didn't believe me at first. I say, go and clean your colon, clean your body, keep cleansing your body, use these things, keep cleansing your body. And then she eventually sees the benefit of that. The mouth, your breath returns to normal, because when you open your mouth and a vent is there, the foods that are in there are not old undigested, old crap food. It is just what you had eaten 3 hours or 2 hours ago, and you're going to pass it later. Because if you get the body working, listen to me, if you get the body working properly, Whenever you eat a meal, a given amount of time, 15, 20, 30 minutes later, one will have a bowel movement. It is not nasty to go to the toilet.
So let me ask you a question, though, Lloyd, because if your body was designed that way, so whenever I eat food, 20 minutes digestion takes about an hour, 2 hours. So 2 hours later, I supposed to be going to the bathroom. Why am I not going to the bathroom every time I finish eating food? What is posing the problem?
Because it starts with the digestion. The digestion starts in the mouth. If we do not chew the food sufficiently to mix with the saliva, mastication, I think it was called in the old days, it's the mixing of the saliva with the food. That is the beginning of the digestive system. Now, we like to hustle and throwing food like we dumping garbage in a truck. No. You don't need an hour for lunch. You need time to eat and relax. Relax eating. Look here. If you're happy when you're eating, you digest your food better, you know.
Yeah.
If your spirit is up when you're eating, you digest your food better. Because your brain gets a signal of happiness, the adrenaline and all these things gives your body a state of relaxation which makes it perform better. When you're hustling to go back on the job, what they're going to replace you with if you stop today? You're losing the time, you're not getting the proper digestion. Another thing is water. Water is very important. Many times when you're feeling bad and you're feeling oozy and stuff, it's because of lack of water. Another thing is the zodiac signs, which we will have to talk at length at another time. It is important for everybody to know that when you were born, the zodiac played an important part in your birth. From thence, you are directly related to certain natural things. For example, I will tell you, I am Aquarius. In June, every year, before I knew about it, I knew this was happening. Every year in June, there are certain chest symptoms which you have to take magnesium in some form, where you will not get rid of those little chook in your stomach. When you lay down something, you feel like you're getting a little chook on the head, because I am Aquarius. And so I don't even bother wait until June. All the way coming down, I get amaranth. Amaranth is a thing that goes outside of your fence and you cut it down all the time and throw it away. They call it hog meat. They call it hog meat. Now you can't mix up that with hogweed. Hogweed is the one we call broadback. I'm telling you about these things because they're always outside of your fence. When no other trees are, they're always going up outside your fence. They are telling you that they're there for you and you need to start using them. I can tell you this because I was afflicted in many ways, which we won't go into again. But I use oregano. A thing they call thyme. They season food with it and they make tea with it.
Yeah.
My friend, this is for you. I brought all of this to give you a little idea of the way that you could just improve your life without doing any lot of spending or anything. Yes, if you get a product from me, it may cost you a few dollars, but remember, you ain't on a coconut tree. There are no entities on the island where we can get naturopathic healing or help. For people who don't want to go to the doctor anymore because they have been taking these same things for a long time, they're not vexed with the doctor. The doctor is trying his best. The pharmaceutic industry is the one to blame. You can't blame them because they're so far away. But the drugstore could put little packets of leaves on the shelf and sell them for $5 and $10 too. And they will help you.
But you see, that's one of the issues, because when you start doing things like that, though, because you're not qualified, that's one of the things that they're going to look at. You're not qualified to decide how much, what to take, how to take it, what's inside of them. These are the things that they ask. You understand? And if you're not in a position to tell, because the medical field is going to have a problem with that.
You see, the medical field, their problem with me is that I can reverse situations which they treat for 50 years. I am not discrediting them again. I have personal friends who are very great friends of mine who are doctors, and I know what they do. They are blessed by the Almighty to diagnose the problems that are affecting you. But They are not offered the cures that were given long time ago. When I was little, right, Dr. Jung had a tablet, a big tablet. Anything you got bothering you, Dr. Jung used to give you this one tablet. The
Everybody.
parents used to call it one thing heal all. Let me tell you why. This tablet came from the Himalayas. It is a Himalayan drug that is nowhere else found. Okay? It is called Shilajit. Shilajit, if you drink Shilajit for 24 days, 21 days, 7 days, your body repairs itself. There's another one called Bantaya, which is only found in Indonesia. Sorry, in the Honduras. In the
Yeah.
Honduras, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's also an Indonesian plant which doesn't come out of Indonesia. So look up there and see how many people you see struggling with weight because of food. Because we all like to eat. How many people you see in China struggling because of food? How many Himalayan people you see dying from diabetes? That doesn't happen because these are things that are known to them.
You see, one of the things is that when your body is out of balance, there's so many things, so many imbalances you have. You have hormonal imbalances, you have digestive issues that create an imbalance. You have so many different imbalances in the body, and when your body is just out of then it's not properly balanced. You have issues like that. People look at me and I'm fat, and they would say, "How come you're fat?" I have thyroid issues. My thyroid gland is just doing what it wants to. As you read up, you realize there's so many issues that would have contributed to it. The lack of iodine in foods, meaning that you have to take the table salt that has the added iodine. I don't do table salt, so that can pose some issues. There are other autoimmune diseases that you can have that can create obesity, and doctors concentrate on people say, "Oh, you're not eating the right foods." It's true, because for me, I should not eat starch. I shouldn't eat gluten. People they have histamine intolerance, where your body produces too much histamine, and then you take the gluten, it's gonna pose more problems. But a lot of people are not aware of the fact that these are the issues. You go to the doctors and they cannot even diagnose what your problem is. They look at you and say, "Go and lose some weight." It's not about just losing weight, just going and losing weight. There are people who exercise. When I was growing up, I used to exercise every 3-4 times per day. I was not overweight, but then I had to struggle to maintain a natural body weight. And and so you, in all due respect to some people, you see them walking on the road and you say, "Oh, she must sit down behind all kind of KFC and she eat all sorts of." No, that is not necessarily the problem. There are other issues that creates problem like that. So,
Okay.
and this is one of the reasons why when you talk about the different herbs like oregano, the two types of it, they address certain issues. But again, we don't know how to use these herbs. We would drink the tea, oregano tea, and get rid of mucus for some. Some people would drink it, and because of the fact, for example, you take cinnamon. A lot of people take cinnamon, and cinnamon has a lot of benefits, but it also brings down your blood sugar levels. So when you drink, a person who doesn't have diabetes, when you drink cinnamon and you don't have something, or you're not eating a balanced diet, you start to feel low key because your sugar levels drop. So it's not just going around and just grabbing up these things and starting to take them and trying to address all of the problem, because you run yourself in a problem where you're drinking all kind of different herbs because you want to. Somebody say, drink cinnamon for diabetes. You start drinking it. It's gonna help weight loss. Drink ginger. It's gonna help weight loss. Drink turmeric. It's they heal all. And people are running from. You're just hearing these things and you're running with it because people genuinely want to live long.
You see, what happens is this. There are many things that are contributing to the problem.
Mm-hmm.
The lack of knowledge is not necessarily one of them. The lack of acceptance, the tendency to not accept, because the first thing they're going to ask you, well, you give me this bullshit, how am I going to drink it? You're going to drink it through your mouth like everything else. Listen, if you want to know how much of what to use. It is written and it is known. Because the great old people who taught us, from whom I started learning this thing, they would tell you, well, the length of your finger or the length of your little finger, take half of that and use that as ginger.
You see, yeah. And
Right?
some people tell you, for bush, use odd numbers. Use 7.
They will tell you
3.
use odd numbers
Yeah.
for the bush,
Yeah.
right? They will tell you use 1 or 3 peg of garlic, don't use no more. They ain't gonna tell you why. Because more than 3 peg of garlic put too much of that unwanted product in your body, which is deterring from your intention to heal. So that starts to contribute to another side effect, which is not necessarily going to bother you 100%, but it is there. You see? Now, you have tablespoonful. You use a tablespoonful of the leaves. It depends on how you're going to prepare the leaves. If you're going to dry them, I dry mine as much as possible and blend them. When you dry the leaves, all that happens is that the glues and ingredients that are holding the leaves, the ingredients together,
Cool.
the glue that is holding the ingredients together, it comes loose, it becomes dry, and when you put it in, you use less of the bush now, because it will turn brown instead of green, because it's dried. But it is stronger, it is more of the ingredients that are being left. If you leave a little bit of water in the pot overnight and you come out, don't you find that the tea that you find, the little bit of water, the little bit of tea that you left there, is much more concentrated than what you drank before? That happened to me with some breadfruit bush. Breadfruit bush is very good for hypertension.
Yeah.
It is good for if your blood pressure is up right now, that you go and you boil some water and get an average leaf, cut it up and soak it there, and after an hour you can start drinking it. Like every 3 hours you drink a 7-ounce glass or 5-ounce glass. At the night you drink a good 9-ounce glass before bed. In the morning your pressure is going to go down.
So what breadfruit leaf does?
It relieves the tension in your head.
Okay.
It
relaxes.
helps relax
It
the
relaxes.
arteries.
Okay.
People look past the arteries when they have high blood pressure. The arteries are too
Constricted.
stiff.
Yeah.
They're not able to help the
not
blood
flexible
move
enough.
forward.
And that
so
is
the
one of the
blood
reasons.
is not moving fast enough, and therefore you have a back pressure.
That is one of the reasons why magnesium is so important.
And that is
because
one of
it
the
creates the
reasons.
flexibility
The
of the
magnesium.
arteries. Yeah.
And nitric oxide.
Nitric oxide opens up, so that's one of the beets. That's why beets
And
become
that is why beets become
so important. Yeah, creates that.
I
it
made
creates that.
a few notes to come here. I scribbled a few notes because I wanted to be using the time quickly instead of just pausing
Yeah.
and stuff. This is the one that is for the thyroid. This is the family from the
bugle.
bugleweed.
Okay.
This is called carpet daisy.
Okay.
This relaxes the head. This is good for depression. People suffering with depression, it is very good for depression and anxiety. It helps to relax the thyroid.
But you see, the depression and anxiety comes when you have a thyroid gland that is not functioning.
So I'm going
if
to
you,
that.
Yeah, so if you solve that problem, then you would definitely get rid of depression and anxiety.
One of the things with the thyroid gland is that it responds readily to something I'm going to tell you again, which I should not be just disclosing, but I'm not hiding my knowledge.
Yeah, thanks.
The male papaya tree,
Mm-hmm.
it sends out a little flower.
Mm-hmm.
If you pick that flower, you can use it just as is or as it's dried. If you made some tea with that flower, it helps to remove cancerous cells from the body.
Yeah, I've
It
read
helps.
that.
It helps with endometriosis.
Yeah.
It helps with fibroids. It helps
Female
with the
problem.
thyroid.
Any
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so, we chopping down the male papaya tree. Stop chop them down now. I just tell you what to do. There are other ingredients which you can add, which I will take this on a one-on-one basis.
Yeah.
when I
So
speak to
anybody who
people-
wants to get more information, they can call you out, give them your telephone number, because I think that's one of the issues. So I mean, you would give them ideas of what they have to do, but in all fairness, like the man says, it's his job.
And another thing, there are those who will mess it up trying very hard to get it done. So one can expect that if I can make a product for you, specifically for you in general, I can make a product for you and you afford me a little change so that I could put back the money where it come from, I'll be fine. Because I've never made money in my life that would have made me rich and I lost it. Every dollar that I made was spent doing something for somebody, not necessarily for myself. But that bugle weed is very good.
But you know, it hurts my heart though when I look at what you're putting on the table, and to see that nature provides us with these things, and it's all laziness, because for me, I can go to the pharmacy and ask, "You all have bugle weed in a tablet form?" Because that's what we need. We're not looking at the process that it goes through, and 95% of it doesn't have no bugle weed is in there. The 5% is not going to do anything, and we have the information here. And all of these are grown here. You have the leaf of life that's on the table again, which is very good for mucus. People who have cold, all of this virus that is going around now, the leaf of life tree does a very good job where that is concerned. It helps children, especially, who you don't want to go and put them onto these medication that has so many side effects. You pound it and you squeeze it, and you give them, and you could chew on it, which you're doing now.
The leaf of life is one of those plants from which many benefits can be derived. Because, like you said, it's good for cold, it's good for fever. It is called the leaf of life for
a reason. Mm-hmm.
You can eat 3 leaves of this on a daily basis and just take down your diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
But taking down the diabetes is one story. Having to deal with taking it down on a regular basis is another story. But what this does, it helps you to replenish the body. It is good for hypertension. 3 leaves of the same leaf of life with 3 pegs of garlic will be because you're taking it for hypertension. The other benefits would be like removal of mucus because you're going to spit a lot of coal. You know, certain arteries, the arteries, we have to always consider the arteries are very important. That's why we suffer with stroke. That's why we suffer with a lot of heart attacks and stuff like that.
Vascular
because
problems.
The arteries are too constricted. What constricts the arteries? Various amount of things. Too much sugar in the body, overworking them, salt, too much salt, iodized salt. Listen, I use salt.
There's a difference, and I want people to get that, and I'm glad you say that. We have salt here in St. Kitts.
We have salt in St. Kitts. I was coming on to that. I have
102 minerals in the sources.
I have salt that I went over and
salt. Yeah, that's the salt I use.
And I am angry because they have destroyed all the ponds over there.
Yeah.
There is just one pond over at Majors Bay, and if I talk too fast, I might go over and see them put up some construction around it to inhibit people's using the natural salt. That is so much better. You could bathe with it. You could put it on your tongue if you have a problem with water retention. If every minute you go in bathroom, sometimes you drink so much water that every minute you go in bathroom, sometimes your body is not holding the water for whatever reason.
And you become dehydrated.
So you have to take a little bit of that sea salt.
Yes.
Put it on your tongue or in a glass of water.
And I want you to place emphasis on it, because people are told when you have high blood pressure, don't use salt. Table salt is different to sodium chloride. Do not use table salt. It's not salt.
I want to ask you a small question there. Sorry for cutting you.
Yeah.
Is there a man on earth who could make something better than God could make it?
Of course not.
Okay, so why?
And doctors would recognize that when you start cramping up from overexhaustion of the muscles and you lose all of that fluid, they give you saline, they give you salt water, they give you Gatorade, which is high in salt. Salt is, you're lacking salt, you wind up with strokes. You wind up with, these are the problems that you have when you are lacking salt. So a lot of the strokes come from when your body is dehydrated, it's not holding the fluid, and the lack of sodium chloride. So it's a misconception a lot of people get. I'm glad that you touched that, because a lot of people have this misconception that if you take too much salt, you're going to have high blood pressure.
No, you don't. If you take iodized salt, you're going to have high blood pressure, because iodized salt is not salt. it is salt that is mimicking salt and getting away with it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's hardening the arteries and the veins.
Yep.
And we're not taking anything for the arteries and the veins. So we develop other problems.
Yep. When you have, like I said, and I said it before, when things are not in balance, it poses serious problems.
Yeah, that's
You
why
can't take too much of one and not the other because it throws it out of balance.
That's why we say whenever you meet upon the negative, just add some positive to it, and then you get the earth. The earth keeps you grounded.
Mm-hmm.
Grounding is a very important thing. People would understand that. Grounding, it is important for you to take off them shoes and let the soles of your feet absorb some of natural. Get a little dig now and then, let some mad blood run out, you know? And clean your feet. That's another thing. People think that pedicure is supposed to be something exotic. No. Soak your feet. Okay. Get some blue Listerine. Mix it with some white vinegar. Soak your feet for about 15-20 minutes while you're watching TV. And then just take up your foot and take your fingernails and scrape the sole of your
And
foot.
it gets rid of all the fungus that you have
You see
too.
how much of that go. And then you start to sleep better. You stop
Yeah.
snoring a lot. People don't understand your body is connected from head to toe. But the cleansing is the biggest problem we have in thinking. Because, like I say, the learned people are too busy doing other things than sharing their information with those who need it. And then they call me unskilled, unprofessional. I didn't go to any school to study. You go to school to study for people to find out how brilliant you are. When the Father gives you a talent, you don't have to prove brilliance to nobody. What you have to do is be able to execute what you're saying. And I wouldn't say it if I had not experienced it. That's why I tell you this little leaflet here. This to keep me, because sometimes I go to a home, right? And while I'm there and I realize blah, 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 something come to mind. A man say, boy, add some eyebright. This is eyebright. Eyebright is a plant that will help you with conjunctivitis. And any kind of eye
Conjunctivitis.
disease, you're talking about cataracts and stuff like that. The thing about it is this. We make some tea and we go wash the eye and we go look in the mirror to see if it's better. No. These were the first set of tablets that were offered were capsules. Because you could use vegetable glycerin and make that little the capsule itself, and then you could pack the herbs into it. Then came the scientists who got the earth on the lack of oxygen. As little as it, as small as this may seem, right? You see them lot of lights where we go on around us all night. They're stopping the trees from sleeping. And if the trees cannot sleep, you have less oxygen in the morning. Look at the mango tree in your yard, where it is close to the lamppost, right? You scarcely have any mangoes there. On the back of the side of the other tree, that same tree, you have a string down with mangoes, because that get to sleep at night. It takes up the carbon dioxide that is coming from the ground, goes up to the leaves, it gives out oxygen. In the morning, we have enough oxygen for the trees, for the humans, and for the ozone layer.
Well, you know, you just make a brilliant statement there. I have been looking and they're complaining. Why is so much carbon dioxide is in the atmosphere? It is posing some serious issues, and they have to start finding ways and means of fixing it. You just brought the solution. What we have created is all this unnatural sunlight, lights. So just like you said, the plants cannot take, because that's what it does. The photosynthesis takes place in the daytime, respiration takes place at nighttime. So at night it can't respire because the lights are out, so the plant cannot sleep. So it's not using up the carbon dioxide. So we have all of that carbon dioxide now, and you know what carbon dioxide does for us. If we're not getting enough oxygen, what is going to happen to the world? So we asked the question all along, what is happening? Why are people getting so sick? Because of the lack of oxygen. The plants can't get a chance to respire because we have all of these fake lights around, and then we are bringing in the LED lights. So your whole house is surrounded with lights. The plants that you have around you can't do what they're supposed to do. And we asked a silly question, why are we having so much carbon dioxide? And after a period of time, according to the scientists, we're going to pose some serious problem to our health.
Yeah. Okay. You see, according to the scientists, is what we are accustomed to now. But before the scientists, they were the elders and the knowledgeable ancestors who, even though we are not conscious of it, those are the ones who are living in us. And that is why you, my good friend Sakrati here, everybody in the studio and myself, that is why we are able to articulate and pass knowledge. And that is why we are going to be able to say the things that others are not saying. Because we first have to lift our spirit. I tell you, it's on the sole of your feet that your spirit starts from, at the sole of your feet. You have to lift it.
And on that note, I'm glad that you said that. We've come to the end of our session. It was really good, and that's one of the things that we have, why we have your views. Like I said, it's a program where we try to make sure that we bring the information that is absolutely necessary to you. We ask that you stay tuned to WINN FM 98.9. I'm talking this way because, when you're not feeling right with your spirit, it tends to confuse you. That's one of the whole thing. I want to thank you, Lloyd, for coming into the studios of WINN FM on your views, and I really appreciate the information. We wish we would have had the hour that was supposed to be allocated to us, but life is like that. So 50 minutes short, and we have to now turn over to Voices. So I asked you to stay tuned to WINN FM 98.9. Voices up next with Socrates. My name is Sandra Quilly Atherton. It was a pleasure being here.
It was my pleasure being here. And one last thing before I go, please. People, write this down. Get a flat cactus, that cactus that we call Cassie. Get one of those cactus. Slice it up small. Get some coconut water. Pour it on that cactus. About 2 glasses of coconut water. And put a piece of turmeric about 2 inches, pong it up, put it inside there, soak it for 1 to 3 hours, and drink that. It will remove all your knee pain, your back pain, your headache, and you will thank me for it.
Thank you.
One love. Blessings.
Appreciate it.
Ready for a good time, let the good vibes